Where did the defenders go wrong? This one hurts. It hurts big time because I was so looking forward to Marvel's The Defenders. Even though there was a couple of stumbles along the way, it still had potential to be something big. The fact that Netflix even attempted to do what Marvel did on the big screen with the Avengers and how successful that was, how exciting that was to see so many characters come together. This, in concept, was great. It should have been the biggest thing on television, even Netflix, but it sucked. It sucked big time. And it's the opening scene that instantly tells you that this won't be good. Iron Fist. Fuck. Let's get a reminder of what was the last thing that Netflix gave us. Oh boy. Oh boy. So the first thing we see is Danny Rand and Colleen going after the hand. Of course, that sets up everything that's been building. And I guess Danny Rand is the first one to uncover this. That's where we meet our other characters like Matt Murdock and him going to help Luke Cage clear his name, get him out of jail, which this was great. This was probably the only cool beginning of this. And also Jessica Jones. Seeing Jessica Jones and Luke Cage finally reconnect and interact, because in Jessica Jones season 1, the two of them dated and got pretty serious for a while and then unceremoniously broke up. And so I personally was dying to see the two of them get back together. And every time they were on screen together, I just had my eyes glued to the screen. And sadly, it wasn't much. They had a couple of scenes, they had a couple of moments, a couple of lines of dialogue, but their relationship never grew. They didn't get back together. They didn't even hook up, which hurts. Why did they tease us so hard, stringing us along, only to not ever give us something that we all truly wanted? But how about the moment when Luke Cage meets Danny Rand and the two of them have a fight, which was satisfying because I would want to punch Danny Rand in the face as well. It's not good when two superheroes are fighting each other and you find yourself actively rooting for one of them. Usually, you should find yourself conflicted and you should say, oh no, I don't want these guys to fight because I don't want either one of them to lose, or I don't want either one of them to get beat up. But no, I wanted Danny to get his stupid face punched in. Honestly, a lot of the fight scenes in this series is not memorable. In fact, I forget damn near all of the fight scenes that go down. There's one sequence where the whole group fights a bunch of the hand in a hallway, of course, and Daredevil in every moment outshines Danny. That's not surprising when you see how good Matt Murdock and Charlie Cox is with the fighting on the Daredevil show itself. But Danny Rand is supposed to be a guy that trained with ninjas and has learned this secret chi power. Like, he should not be getting one-upped. He should not be as inept and incapable of having great, memorable fight moments. It's sad. It sucks. I know I keep beating up on Danny Rand. I know I did a lot of that in my last video about the Iron Fist show, but I can't help it. This guy sucks. He sucks in all ways possible. He's clearly the weak link in this cast. Every scene that the whole group, the whole set of actors are talking to each other, he's the odd person out. He's the one that does not fit in. And you could tell that the writers were catching on to the fact that the fans didn't like Danny either. There's so many points where characters like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones actively make fun of Danny Rand and say that he sucks. And it doesn't help that every piece of dialogue that Danny has makes him come off as a whiner. Our main villain, Alexandra, is played by Sigourney Weaver, which, again, in concept, should be great. Sigourney Weaver, great actress, somebody that comes with a lot of prestige and pedigree. But the problem is that not only does she just feel like she's here just to be here, just to get us from point A to point B, they kill her off about halfway through, a little more than halfway through, they want to surprise us. And they want us to think, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. I thought she was the main villain. What a surprise. But the problem, Netflix, is that you've done this already 3 times. You did this in Iron Fist, you did this in Luke Cage, and now you're doing it again here. It loses the shock factor. It loses impact when you continue to do this. It becomes a trope of these shows to introduce a villain and then to have them killed off. And I try to understand Sigourney Weaver. I try to understand her role in The Hand and why the hell it seems like she's trying to outshine Madame Gao, which doesn't make any sense to me. Madame Gao has already been set up in other shows. Madame Gao has already been, at least we thought, the leader of The Hand. Why wasn't she just the one filling in? The real villain is Elektra, which I actually like, again, in concept, that she was resurrected by the Hand at the end of the season 2 finale of Daredevil, being called the Black Sky, and somebody that's a real threat to not only Matt Murdock, but apparently New York as well. I know not everybody loved the Elektra story from season 2 of Daredevil, so maybe that hurts this season or this series more so for a lot of other people who didn't like that plot in Daredevil season 2 come to the Defenders and say, oh wait, this is more of that? If you didn't like it, then you're really not going to like this. The villain from Iron Fist season 1 who was killed off, Bakudu, was resurrected for whatever goddamn reason. They're trying to establish what the Hand can do. Oh, look we can resurrect villains from past seasons and look at how all of these other villains are connected together. But I didn't really care for this villain, honestly. Bakudo, I just didn't care. But it felt like a waste of time. It felt like more of the same shit that we've already seen before. This guy trying to recruit Colleen Wing. It's like, we're never gonna, at least I don't believe that Colleen would go with him. So it's just, why are we doing all this? Matt Murdock has an arc where he has to become Daredevil again because after the death of Elektra, he stopped being Daredevil for a little bit. This was fine, but it did feel a little bit much like Dark Knight Rises, where Batman gave up being Batman because of the love of his life dying. You find out that the Hand wants Danny because they want to use his chi or whatever. And so when the group finds this out, they decide, let's hide Danny. And of course, he doesn't like that. Of course, Danny is going to bitch and complain and argue, but he doesn't just argue with them. He causes a fight. And then they tie him up and throw him into a fucking room and say, sit there, dog. So he does just that. Elektra ends up killing Stick. Now, this is a big moment because Stick is a huge mentor figure for Daredevil, was a big part of the first 2 seasons of the show. I am very shocked that they chose the Defenders of all shows to kill a character like this off. I guess it makes sense to have some big time stakes and some major characters get killed off on this to try to make it feel big time. But because the rest of the material isn't there, because everything else doesn't feel earned and warranted, it actually just ends up making this death a waste. You find out that the Hand gets their powers from dragon bones that's underground in New York. And you sit there and you think, fuck. So just like Iron Fist, they talk about this dragon and how the dragon is the source and it's gone back ancient years, only to find out that the dragon's fucking dead. So we're never going to see this dragon in live action. Bullshit. It's just, you could have made this thing just something that they have, a gem, an infinity stone, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and that's the source of their power. To talk about a dragon and then not deliver a dragon is bullshit on its own. So to get around that, to skate around not having to do a dragon, we see that we're inside the dragon's skeleton, its bones, and somehow they get the powers from that. Lame as all fuck. This ends with explosives blowing the building up and trying to destroy everything that the Hand has down here. Daredevil, of course, stays there with Elektra because he doesn't want to lose her again. Daredevil is now presumed dead, which sucked, especially the first time I saw this, because I thought, wow, you guys kill the best character in all of these Netflix shows. And you kill him off because what? Because you wanted to have a big moment. You wanted to have this big shock thing. You wanted to have him sacrifice himself like a hero. No. Why couldn't Danny sacrifice himself? Maybe that would have been the only way to make anybody care and appreciate Danny, is if he killed himself and gotten rid of him. But no, it had to be Daredevil. It had to be Matt Murdock. Luckily, we find out that Matt made it out of the rubble somehow. We don't know what the fuck happened to Elektra. Maybe she's dead, maybe not. This was painfully boring to watch. That's the biggest thing. Because this isn't as terrible and as bad as Iron Fist. So that's a plus, I guess. And I think seeing all of these characters meet and interact, like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, that's all cool, and that's what makes it interesting, is to see those first-time interactions, to see how these characters and actors bounce off of each other, because it's not something that we had previously seen before. But it also feels like the biggest misfire, the biggest misstep. It almost is a bigger disappointment and a bigger failure than the Iron Fist show was, because even if the Iron Fist show sucks, which it does, and it does big time, if the Defenders worked, if the Defenders was another kick-ass show, another great Netflix Marvel event, then maybe we could have bounced back from it. Maybe we could have subsided the damage that Iron Fist did. Maybe we could have even have made Iron Fist cooler. But no, it was too much. It was too big. And it dragged this show down with a boring plot, a boring premise, boring ass villains, boring fight scenes. A lot of the side characters, they all show up in this season of The Defenders. And it's so odd that they bring all of these actors in. I'm talking about Karen, Foggy, Trish, Colleen, Misty. They have them all here to do what? I feel like they're all stuck in the same fucking room. They're all researching the same stuff that all of our main heroes are kind of also researching on their own. They all feel like they don't even need to be here. Like, if you took all of their scenes out, all of their scenes are unimportant. All of their scenes don't matter. The people who say that the Marvel Netflix shows all suffered from the problem of having too many episodes, 13 episodes were too long, according to a lot of people, and it dragged and dragged and dragged. Well, The Defenders were only 8 episodes, and it still felt long. What's the excuse there? It's not the fact that it's 13 episodes. It's not the fact that there's too many episodes. No, it's just the fact that they didn't know what the fuck to do. Was it connected to the MCU or was it not? They never quite fully were able to say if they were connected to the big movies. They mention a big green guy. They mention the guy with the shield. They mention a dude with a hammer, but it's like they couldn't even say their fucking names. How fucking lame is that? What the fuck, guys? You guys are connected to Marvel, at least in name. Are you telling me Kevin Feige saw this script and said, nah, guys, you guys aren't connected. Sorry. Goodbye. This sucks, and it sucks even more so to look back to see what could have been, but what wasn't. Let me know in the comments below what you think of not only the Defenders show and why it failed, why it sucked, and what were some of your most disappointing things about it. Hit that notification bell for more videos just like this. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.